Hello everyone. Today we're diving into something that's gone under the radar for many gamers, but one that, by golly, will completely change the way you play Star Citizen. I'm talking of course about the latest patch watch, this little document discreetly published by CIG and Spectrum that gives us a glimpse of what awaits us in update 4.2. You know, is our technique that most players skim over thinking, yeah, not much interesting. Well, let me tell you a little something. You're making a huge mistake by ignoring this patch watch. You see, most people think 4.2 is just a small, unimportant patch before the big features. Something to keep you waiting. An update that passes and is forgotten. Wrong. Completely wrong. When I discovered the contents of this patch watch, I told myself it was going to change quite a few things, especially on the way we play. And I'm not just saying that to look pretty. I say it because it's the pure truth. So make yourself comfortable. Pour yourself a drink if you must, because together we're going to unpack 5 crucial changes hidden in patch watch that are already making the whole community tremble. First things first, missiles. You know, those little marvels of technology that scare the hell out of you as they hurtle towards you. That feeling of sheer panic when you have no way of stopping them. Well now, if you disturb them enough, boom, they explode in midair. In concrete terms, what does this mean? Your warp weapons or EMPs can now trigger premature detonation of enemy projectiles. Imagine the satisfaction. A squadron of bombers is hurtling towards your precious hammerhead, launches a salvo of size 9 torpedoes, but thanks to your Sentinel escort he activates his EMP and the torpedoes explode like fireworks before they even reach you. It's beautiful. It's strategic. It's a complete change in combat dynamics. Of course, the community is shared. When was the last time she wasn't? Some are exultant at the thought of new defensive strategies. Others tear their hair out, imagining their precious torpedo exploding in midair. But what nobody really realizes is how this change will transform organized fleets. Ships with warp weapons are about to become indispensable, essential, crucial even in every squadron. It's a complete revolution in the way organizations will plan their attacks. But what interests me now is you. Where do you stand? On the side of relieved defenders or frustrated torpedo boats? In any case, in my opinion, no one is really going to be able to ignore this new game mechanic. But that's not all. The missile system is completely overhauled. This is no small improvement. It's a total overhaul that will shake up the current combat meta. And believe me, for once, some players are furious while others applaud. First crucial change, when you lock onto a target, your missile is immediately at maximum tracking efficiency. Gone are the partial locks that made you howl in frustration when your missile went the wrong way. But, and it's a big but, the minimum locking distance is now greater, generally between 1.7 and 2 kilometers. Light fighter pilots are ecstatic and finally have a chance to react, while some veterans gnash their teeth as their fast lock-and-fire tactics become obsolete. For the owners of Ballistas d'Anneville, I have some excellent news that will have us jumping for joy. I say we because I love Anneville's ballista. Your Helion and Scimitar missiles have received specialized tuning to better serve their anti-aircraft role. It's as if CIG had finally listened to our prayers after months of frustration. And then there's the change that's got the whole torpedo community shaking. All torpedoes now require a minimum arming distance of 1.5 kilometers. Yes, you heard right. Out with the point-blank torpedoing tactics that drive Idris owners crazy. Some players are dancing for joy, others cry over their, and yes, you heard right, the Polaris. Now we come to the third modification, and personally, I'm looking forward to this one. ATLS combinations. But it's not so much the combination that counts. Starting with Alpha 4.2, you'll finally be able to pick up your ATLS suits directly via the cargo elevators in any hangar. And I hope all vehicles will soon follow suit. Remember that monumental frustration when you had to use the ship's elevator and terminal to retrieve your ATLS? The amount of swearing hurled by the community at this process has been legendary. And me first. But that's it. You can now call this vehicle independently. And best of all, we can also secure our ATLS directly to our ship's cargo grid for transport that's as easy as it is efficient. Lone explorers are in ecstasy. Imagine the relief. No more need for multiple ships or complicated processes just to transport our equipment. What's more, TLS Geo has been added to the game's stores, making this technological gem accessible to all players. And look out, I'm giving it to you straight. The change that the community is unanimously in favor of, refining times are finally reduced. The process that used to make us tear our hair out in anticipation is now much faster. No more of that crushing feeling of waste when you spent hours mining only to wait days to see the result. And now, if you're still with me, on to the fourth modification. If you own a Mirai Guardian or Guardian, get ready for a surprise that literally divides owners into 2 camps. The user interface has been completely redesigned to incorporate the modern Mirai style introduced with Guardian MX. This isn't just a little cosmetic facelift, It's a complete transformation of the piloting experience. This update brings a sleeker, more modern cockpit interface to these ships. The community is abuzz. Modernists are delighted with this visual unification, while purists are upset to see the retro-futuristic charm that made them fall for these ships in the first place disappear. The old design had its unique charm, but I have to admit that the new interface is much more functional. It's a bit like having your favorite ship undergo cosmetic surgery. You don't know whether to be impressed or shocked. By the way, on this subject, CIG is still working on Pulseland vehicles and their variants, which leaves some players anxious that their favorite aesthetic will also soon disappear. We now move on to the fifth modification. Radiation widgets in FPS gameplay have been updated. On paper, it's an improvement, but in reality it's more complex and provokes contrasting emotions. You'll now see enhanced readouts that better reflect your exposure levels, as well as new animations. But what many don't realize is that the radiation values are ridiculous compared to reality. As a result, some veteran explorers are stunned to see radiation levels that should be instantly lethal, but leave you to wonder. These changes may seem minor, but they reveal a deep debate in the community. How far should realism go in Star Citizen? Some want an ultra-realistic simulator where a few seconds exposure to intense radiation would be fatal. Others prefer more accessible gameplay. In short, the eternal debate. And let's not forget that these radiation mechanics are intimately linked to the new Lazarus Zone, content that some players fear they'll never be able to explore if they're not part of a large organization. In short, to recap, this Alpha 4.2 patch watch doesn't describe a simple patch. It's the announcement of an earthquake that will fundamentally transform many aspects of Star Citizen's gameplay, and as usual reveals some tensions within the community. From missiles that explode in flight to more accessible ATLS suits, modernized interfaces and mysterious radiation, these changes will collectively create a totally renewed gaming experience. I confess I'm extremely motivated and impatient at the prospect of this new patch, and I can also understand the apprehension of the community, or part of the community. I can see the frustration of some script collectors who end up with potentially useless resources. I sense the anxiety of solo pilots faced with content increasingly geared towards group play, but I can also see the wonder at the constant evolution of this universe we love so much, and the hope that these changes will bring us closer to the ultimate vision of Star Citizen. Since discovering the game in 2017, I've never seen a better time to jump in. I created the Vega Ironsides Corpo at the beginning of 2019, and I can tell you that the game has rarely been as stable and fun as it is today. After a difficult 4.0 in January 2025, the game is now in a fantastic state whether you play alone or in a group for that matter. Last but not least, Update 4.2 is coming live very soon. So, which change announced in this patch watch makes you feel the most emotional? Is it the excitement of new missile mechanics or perhaps the relief of reduced refining times? Star Citizen 4.2 isn't just a patch in my opinion. This really is a major evolution. Honestly, Star Citizen is less and less a game and more an experience, an adventure. An entire universe awaits. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget, as usual, like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon for a new video.